Hello and welcome to another BookTube video from me, Lauren, from Lauren and the Books. Spring has sprung. What's that Frozen song? It's not about spring, is it? It's about summer. In summer! I'll wait to do that properly for when the summer reading tag comes around. Today I'm doing the spring reading tag, which is a tag created by the wonderful, amazing and fantastic Amy Jane Smith from the channel Amy Jane Smith. I will link her original video down below. I love Amy Jane Smith and her seasonal tags. She is the queen of seasonal tags and this has got some amazing questions in it. I'm very much looking forward to them. But let me tell you what I'm drinking first. I can't even. I'm drinking this Drink Me Chai Spiced Chai Latte. It appeared in one of my favourites videos before. It is a chai latte, which is just a powder. Oh, it's just a spice sensation. You mix it with water, you put it in a mug so that it's so bloody boiling hot, boiling water obviously, that you can't drink it throughout your video, and then by the time your video is finished you forget about it and then you have to chuck it in the bin. That's not what's going to happen today. I'm committed to it. Let's start with the spring reading tags. This is a lot of questions all around the season of spring with bloody blankets rolling down. I'm going to chuck this blanket in the bin. I'll never chuck that blanket in the bin. I love it too much. The first question is, what books are you excited to read over the next few months? So, I'm going to be reading over the next few months, definitely in spring, I'll be reading Daphne du Maurier's The House on the Strand. I have only read I've only read My Cousin Rachel so far from Daphne du Maurier. I said I wanted to read basically all the ones that I own, which was 6, I think. I haven't read any of them. Mercedes and I are talking about doing a buddy read of this because neither of us have read it. And it sounds very fun. It's about a Professor Magnus Lane offers of his friend Dick Young a drug to escape from his troubles, and he finds himself transported to 14th century Cornwall. There, in the manor of Tyward Reath, the domain of Sir Henry Champernowne, he witnesses intrigue, adultery and murder. Yeah, so it sounds like it's going to be quite fun. So I'm looking forward to that. Intrigue, adultery and murder. Sounds like it's going to be quite fun. I also mentioned about doing something called Jane Eyre June, which I don't think I made up, but I feel like I want to read quite a lot of... I've got quite a few bits of Jane Eyre books, Jane Eyre related books that I want to read, some of which I haven't got here. For instance, Jane Steele, I really want to read that, and The Mad Woman Upstairs, I really want to read that. I also want to reread Jane Eyre, but I've got Wide Sargasso Sea, which I studied for A-level when I was at school, and bought this many years ago. In fact, we're going on holiday next weekend, and I bought this the first time we went on that holiday, which was 4 years ago, and I didn't read it then, and I haven't read it since, so naughty me, I need to hurry up and read that. And I've also got Reader I Married Him, which is stories inspired by Jane Eyre. So those are maybe some things I'll be reading, and then these two are books that I bought on books that I got on a recent book haul when I went out with some booktubers in London at the weekend. The first one is The Wanderers, which is, it says here, Helen is an experienced astronaut with a NASA position and a struggling grown-up daughter who needs her, but when, at the age of 53, she is offered a place on the training programme for the first crewed mission to Mars, she cannot refuse a last chance to walk among the stars. That sounds fun and exciting. I think I'm going to take that on holiday with me. Similarly, I think I'm going to take this away with me, Girl Trouble, Panic and Progress in the History of Young Women by Carol Dyehouse. Love this front cover. It says here, girls behave badly if they're not obscenity-shouting, pint-swigging lagettes, they're narcissistic living dolls floating around in a cloud of self-obsession, far too busy twerking to care. And this is news. In this witty and wonderful book, Carol Dyehouse shows that where there's a social scandal or a wave of moral outrage, you can bet a girl is to blame. Whether it be the story of brazen flappers staying out and up all night in the 1920s, inappropriate places for Mars bars in the 1960s, or Courtney Love's mere existence in the 1990s, bad girls have been a mass media staple for more than a century, and yet, despite the continued obsession with their perceived faults and blatant disobedience, girls are infinitely better off today than they were a century ago. So that sounds fucking awesome. So those are the books that I'm looking forward to reading over the next few months. Question 2 is, what book makes you think most makes you think of spring? And do you know what makes me think of spring? The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. And I think I've got this very visual image in my head, which I think might come from the first Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe adaptation, which I loved, which was BBC. And my sister and I had it on a double video. So people might not even remember videos. That's depressing, isn't it? And it had in there like a mat that you could unfold and lay out, which had like the Narnia map on it. But yeah, so from that first video, and I think it's from that adaptation, but ever since I've read it since, I always remember it, talks about when first of all, Christmas happens, and then the White Witch is falling from power, which means that spring's coming back, and I can see, as clear as day in my mind's eye, a little brook with some little bluebells at the side, and melted snow all around it, and them saying, spring's coming, and Peter, Edmund, Susan and Lucy being there, being like, spring's coming. Maybe Edmund wasn't there at that point because he might have gone and been a daft sod and gone off with her. But yeah, that book always reminds me really clearly of spring. Question 3 is, the days are getting longer. What is the longest book you've read? So I think this book, and this is based purely on like me sitting here thinking, what are the long books I've read, is Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell. That is, I'm sure, over 1,000 pages. My copy's actually in storage at the moment. I've also read The Goldfinch. That's a very long book too. But I think maybe Gone with the Wind is the longest book that I've read. Question 4 is, what books would you recommend to brighten someone's day? So I've got 2 here. The first one is Bridget Jones's Diary by Helen Fielding. I recently reread this, and honestly, I was absolutely I was in the bath like, this absolutely was such a joy to reread. Everyone knows about Bridget Jones, but Bridget Jones is a character, a literary heroine of mine. I honestly think this might be one of my favourite books of all time. Bridget Jones documents a woman's struggles through singlehood and living by herself in London and just trying to live a life, really. But it's just written in such a personable, enjoyable way that I actually feel like Bridget Jones is one of my bestest pals. I just loved it so much, and I really feel like this has just got something for everyone, no matter what age you are. And I just feel like every time I read it at a different age, I get a bit more from it. So yeah, Bridget Jones always brightens my day. And then another one I picked is Relish by Lucy Knisley, My Life in the Kitchen, just merely because of the beautiful brightness of the artwork in it. So it's a graphic novel about food. I've got another one of Lucy Knisley's, French Milk, in there. But her artwork is just so bright and fun, and it's all about food, which is my favourite. And yeah, I just feel like that's a real treat for anyone. So yeah, that will definitely brighten your day. Definitely! Number 5 is Spring brings new life to nature. Think up a book that doesn't exist but you wish it does. So this book sort of semi-exists, but not really, but I want more. So obviously I can't do a video without talking about Harry Potter because the rotation of the earth would be thrown off and everything would just go wrong. But what I would like is more backstory on McGonagall and Luna. So recently J.K. Rowling released some sort of like excerpts from her notes and stuff that she'd sort of pulled together in a bit of a short story kind of thing, that they were released only on Kindle, and within one of those collections was some backstory on McGonagall and the fact that she was married and she was married to a muggle and things like that. And reading that, I got so emotional because I didn't quite realise how much love I had for McGonagall. So I would love to hear more about her backstory and like where she goes and her just onwards with her wonderful life. And similarly with Luna, the bit of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows when they go to Luna and her father's house, I was eaten up with my eyes because I loved it so much, because it was just like backstory on another wizarding house and a character that I particularly loved. So yeah, those are the books that I would invent. A whole story involving Luna and a much more backstory on McGonagall. Those are the 2 things. Number 6 says, Spring is also a time of growth. How has your reading changed over the years? So my reading, I definitely do much more reading. I've always been a big reader and I've always read a lot, but since doing BookTube, I've really taken it to what I consider a professional level of reading. I read an awful lot more now. I also know what I like, so I'm much less likely to read... I'm much less likely to pick up something that I don't think I'll like. Like, I know what I'll like. God, I've made that sound so confusing. It's not really. And also, something I used to do, I used to really battle through books. And one thing that I've particularly been doing this year is I've been reading books. And if I don't like them, I just don't read them anymore. Because I used to just absolutely slog through and be like, oh, I've got to read that. And it would really like put me off reading because I'd still be needing to read it and wouldn't want to go back to it and blah, blah, blah. And then I started saying, oh, I'll give it a 50-page limit. And if I don't like it by then, I can give up. Nowadays, I read however much I want. If I think I'm not into this at the moment, that's completely fine and I can do that. And I feel like I've got really serious talking about this. But yeah, so that's what I've done. So I've definitely read more. I know what I like and I'm prepared to give up books more often. So number 7 is we're a couple of months into the new year. How is your reading going? So I actually aim to read 150 books this year, and I'm 1 book ahead of schedule. I've sort of unofficially started trying to read a book every other day, every other month. So that happened in January and in March, and I'll go for it again in May, which sort of means that I get a little bit ahead. So a couple of days ago I was 3 books ahead of reading, and then I haven't finished anything in April yet, and it's the 5th of April. However, I'm about to read a picture book. This picture book, that won't take me long, will it? Archie Snufflekin's Oliver Valentine Cupcake Tiberius Cat by Kate Harnett. So that's going to be 1 book I've read, because I want to read that and then give it to my goddaughter. So yeah, but my reading I'm pretty pleased with. I've got a pile of books down there that I call my slumpbuster pile. So if I'm ever feeling slumpy, I sort of look at that and know that they're going to be good, because those are books that I picked from when watching everyone's best books of 2016. There were lots of books in there that people were mentioning, saying were their favourite books of 2015. I was like, I own that, and hadn't got round to reading. So I put them in a pile and was like, that's the pile I'm gonna go to if ever I'm like in need of a book. And so far they've all been wonderful from that pile. I've read The Essex Serpent from that pile. I've read Hold Your Own by Kate Tempest. I'm going to read The Lie Tree this month. From that pile, and I also think I might read Another Day in the Death of America. So that's been a sort of like slump buster pile for me. But yeah, really pleased with how my reading's going this year. And then finally, any plans you're looking forward to over the next few months? As I said, I'm going on holiday. This is my holiday pose. Oh, that's going to be lovely. David and I are joining my friends Kate and Alex and Ryan and Amy. We're going to Pembrokeshire in Wales to stay in a holiday home down there, which has got a jacuzzi. And do I mean jacuzzi? Hot tub. Jacuzzi's like from the 90s and hot tubs from now. Are they the same thing? No, jacuzzis are indoors. Maybe hot tubs are indoors. Who knows? It's got a hot tub. And it's just going to be a complete week of like chill out. We're going to take loads of books. We're going to go on some nice walks. We're going out for a few nice meals. We're taking it in turns to cook dinners. It'll be really nice to like just catch up with my friends. Like we don't see so much of each other anymore. So it'll just be nice just to have a good week of like just catching up and just getting reacquainted with them all. So that'll be lovely, and very much looking forward to that. So that's coming up. My sister's also getting married in July, which sort of creeps into the summer, but there's a lot of like prep for that going ahead, which is very exciting. My good friend Simon from Savage Reads and his partner Chris are coming to stay at the end of this month, which will be lovely. We went to stay with Chris and Simon in January, and we can't wait to have them back to return the favour. We're going to do a few bits around here, which will be lovely. I'm also going on a bookish break holiday a few nights away with Caitlin, Eleanor and Mercedes, which will also be lovely. So lots of things to look forward to, just chilling out, enjoying myself, some reading. I'm really enjoying this weather. I always say that Christmas and winter are my favourite time of year, but this bit of spring where the sun, where it's staying lighter for longer, like it's 4:30 now when I'm recording this. There is no way I could have done that a couple of months ago. The light's really nice, brightness is enjoyable. I get to wear my sunglasses more. Jesus Christ, that's a massive seagull over there. It really is. Get to see massive seagulls and just have a lovely time. So yeah, enjoying life at the moment. So thanks so much for Amy for creating this tag. She did tag me in it. Thanks so much for tagging me. I'm not going to tag anyone because I've really loved this tag, and I just think like if you want to do it, then please just do it, because it's a great selection of questions. It's a really nice way to think about spring, and yeah, just a nice way to show off your books. I will link a link to all the books down below if you are so interested in them. David's coming in here now. We're going to do a video for his channel now involving eating American candy, which I'm very much looking forward to. I'm going to try root beer for the first time in my life. You can check that out on his channel. It's not up yet, but it will be soon. And I will see you all again soon for another booktube video. Goodbye! Got to drink my drink.